Hello and welcome to the Hockey Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I'm your host, Ryan Gilbert. Joining me, as always, are my co-hosts, Joel and Jared. Oh, no, tonight, boys. Long time no see.
I'm okay. Yeah, it's another dreary day in Vancouver here, and I ended up cursing a bus driver today. I was walking along the street. I wasn't like really close to the curb or anything, but this fucking bus, it came right next to the curb in the big fucking puddle, just like splashed me, and I drowned my fucking sweater, and I was really pissed off by that. And just walking home with my groceries and everything, that ruined my mood. But I'm okay. I'm recovering from that. Ready to get into this good slate of games here on the Wednesday, and of course talking about tomorrow. But yeah, good night yesterday. Canucks win. Elias Patterson looks great. Jonathan Lekkerimäki is looking pretty good as well. Yeah, great win for the Canucks there.
Yeah, weather's starting to turn over here. Pretty cold day today. Today was the first day. I had to break out the old ice scraper on the carb broom to get some shit off the car before leaving for work. But outside of that, it's so far so good because none of my bets from the previous night have lost yet because nothing has started. So that's always a positive. So we'll maybe get some good live reactions here in today's show.
Yeah, nice. Joel, you always have a bunch of stories involving buses or bus stops and your phone getting stolen or whatnot. It seems like a lot of public transport stories. And like your not cross-country bus trips, but like your bus trips trying to get back to Vancouver.
Well, I walk everywhere, so I get to experience the city firsthand. I'm not cooped up in a car just driving around ignorant to what's going on. I'm actually experiencing the city, which for better or for worse, and usually it's for worse. So yeah, I got some stories out of it at least. Yeah. But yeah, it's a struggle, man. It's a struggle.
You ever bike at all? I know Philly has like Indigo bikes. There's like city bikes in New York City.
Biking's for the Dutch.
All right, then. Top of the show here. Make sure you are subscribed to the Hockey Gambling Podcast on Apple and on Spotify. YouTube got up over 500 subscribers, so appreciate that. But do still keep subscribing on YouTube. You watch us live. You see our faces. We put the odds up on the screen and whatnot. So always try to make it better for the live listeners, live viewers on YouTube here. Get in the Discord, sg.pn/Discord. And follow the Hockey Gambling Podcast on Twitter at HockeySGPN. All right, download the SGPN app as well. Got everything there, all the picks, all the podcast, all the content on the SGPN app, available in your app store to download it today. All right, boys, any news, any hockey happenings today you want to touch on before we just get into this 10-game slate?
Ryan Kessler wants to be retired as a Canuck. I don't know if anyone cares about that. That's the only thing that I've really listened to today. He got a standing ovation yesterday, so apparently the Canucks fans have forgiven him for going to the Ducks back in the day, because that was a big deal way back when. But no, I got nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does he want to retire a Duck, or should he be retired as a Duck?
He does. He's doing the whole redemption tour now. He's going on podcasts. He's showing up to games. So yeah, he wants to be remembered as a Canuck. He said it was a mistake going to the Ducks now, so he's apologizing. Yeah.
I forgot for a second what the other team he played for was. I was like, who else did Kessler play for? I was like, yeah, Anaheim, obviously. Yeah. Just going down our hockey now. I'm seeing that Hampus Lindholm will be out weeks, according to Coach Jim Montgomery. So Bruins already kind of struggling there. Kind of a hit there on the blue line. So factor that into our Bruins bets here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then, just get right into this 10-game slate for Thursday, November 14th. Kicking us off here at 7 p.m. You have the San Jose Sharks plus 310 at the New York Rangers minus 395. Rangers on the puck line are minus 148. Sharks plus 1.5 are plus 124. Total is set at 6.5. Over at plus 102. With the under at minus 122 here. We talked about this before the show, probably the biggest favorite of the season so far, and I just don't see it for the Rangers here as a $4 favorite. Sprinkle the Sharks here, half unit, quarter unit even. Like, they got confidence. They've won 4 or 5 of their past 8 games now. The one loss was a shootout loss in Philadelphia on a back-to-back. They came back in that one. Rangers lost 2 of their past 3, including 6-1 to Buffalo at home as 193 favorites. They've lost as minus 150 favorites a few times. So can't trust the Rangers here. So yeah, if anything, just the Sharks at plus 310. maybe even a Sharks puck line plus 1.5. They do tend to keep things close. Could see a lower scoring game between these two. Yeah, not going to touch a total. Just going to sprinkle the Sharks here.
Can't really argue with the Sharks play. When I punched in my numbers, I thought that the Sharks would be a little bit more valuable, but I came up with 326 for the Rangers. But yeah, obviously 395 is far above that. Yeah, so the Sharks are nothing here. They've been competitive. They haven't been the disaster that they were last season or at times earlier this season without Celebrini. Like, I think Celebrini injects a lot into the lineup, a lot more pace, a lot more punch. So yeah, Sharks here I think is good. I kind of like the over though, because the Rangers struggle defensively. They have a dynamite offense. Remember talking about Valkett last episode, he was saying that the Rangers are one of the best teams in terms of the East-West scoring chances, but one of the worst in terms of defending them, which is kind of strange because if you're good at something, you should be able to defend that same thing. So yeah, I like the over here because Shesterkin, ever since that eye emoji from one of those insiders, he's been struggling. So he hasn't been the same Shesty that we saw earlier in the year. So I think the over 6.5. We can see a crazy game here. I think maybe a Sharks team total over would be a nice look as well.
The old Kevin Weeks eye emojis takes down another star player. Yeah, like there's just zero value here on this Rangers team. While I do agree they struggled defensively, I kind of just went to go back and I started looking up a bunch of stats, and it seems like, the Rangers are definitely one of those teams that whenever they have a far inferior opponent in front of them, they are taking care of them. So they're like Rangers have held these so-called bad teams, which have included the Ducks, Detroit twice, the Islanders, and I consider them a bad team. And then Buffalo, they've all been held to 2 goals or less in all those games played. The Sharks have also struggled so far in the month of November. They have only scored more than 2 goals once so far this month. So yeah, 1 out of 5 games. So, and I mean, after all the Vezina talk and then that Vezina showdown between Hellebuck and Shesterkin yesterday, that's got to spark Shesterkin a little bit and get pissed off. Like, I know it's just the Sharks, but you're thinking he's probably going to want to try to put up a shutout here. So I'm going nowhere near, like, if you want, sprinkle on the plus 310 just because of how crazy that value is. But I'd be looking at Sharks team total under 2.5 here, actually, just because, I don't know. I don't really like it, but I think that is a decent play. I would much rather lose a bet with the Sharks scoring too many goals, rather than God forbid, I take a Sharks team total over 2.5 and then they put up a 0, right? Something like that would piss me off. But if I lose a Sharks team total under 2.5 because they managed to put 3 past Shesterkin, then fuck, so be it. But that'll pretty much be my only look here in the game.
Let's actually check what the number is because it might be 1.5 for the Sharks here.
Well, it is 2.5. I saw, but I did want to bring up
heavily juiced though, right?
Is it too juiced?
Yeah,
okay,
heavily juiced.
Scratch everything. I just
under 2.5 is like minus 165. I think I saw. But looking at the Rangers' previous losses, after a loss, beat the Red Wings 4-1, beat the Ducks 2-1, beat the Sens 2-1, and beat the Red Wings 4-0. So after a loss, they've only allowed maximum 1 goal. So don't hate that. Maybe even Shesterkin shutout if that's long enough, or under 1.5. I could see that as a worthy long shot play.
Yeah, plus 150, under 1.5, 5-1 for a shutout.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, if you want to get crazy with like a same game parlay, like if you want to take Sharks team total under 2.5 and then slap some books might let you offer it. Something I don't bet 365 does, but something like a Will Smith or maybe a Wenberg point under half of a point, might parlay those together, might bring you back to somewhere in that plus money range. Because those are two, obviously they make sense together, right? If you can find because like Wenberg's been pretty hot, but they got him on the 3rd line. He is on the top power play unit, but I don't know. This game's just ugly.
Yeah. All right. Down at 7:00 again here, we have my Philadelphia Flyers at the Ottawa Senators. Senators minus 175, Flyers plus 145. Total is set at 6 with both the over and under at minus 110 here. The Sens are just too big of favorites here, minus 175. I'm probably not going to end up touching this game, but Sam Ersson is back in net for the Flyers. This is the time of year he starts to get hot. We saw it last year when he took over for Carter Hart, kind of the first time Carter Hart was out with some sort of issue before he was banned from the league later in the year. And from November to January, he was like one of the best goalies besides Connor Hellebuck in the league. So he's looking good. So if anything, Flyers plus 145 here. They have gone to a shootout in 3 straight games, two wins there and 1 loss. So maybe look for a draw play here at 3-1 or better. Going to check what that is real quick. 370 for a draw. That's probably good sprinkle there. Flyers plus 145. As far as the total goes, I'd probably go to the under here. Under at minus 110. Ottawa's had 6 goals or fewer in 4 straight. Flyers have a few overs back to back there, but playing more defensive style hockey here with Urson in net. So Flyers in the under here for me.
I would love the Senators here. My line is minus 178, and this is top of the market here for the Senators. You can find it like minus 160, as low as that, some books. So I kind of like the Senators, but the fact that they're coming off the big win against the Leafs, the hated Leafs, in the Battle of Ontario, it could be a bit of a letdown here for the Senators. But I still like them. If you want to do a smaller play, do the regulation minus 110. I just don't think the Flyers are any good. I know they've had some decent results lately, but they struggled to beat the Sharks. They were up 3-0 that game. They ended up going to a overtime.
A few of those goals were fluky. I was going to bring up for the Sharks game. We were spending way too much time on a Sharks game, but yeah, a few of those Sharks goals were fluky.
Okay,
like bad angle goals, like off a defenseman, like stuff like that.
Anyway, I like the Sens here. The total is interesting. Yeah, Sens games do go under, but I think the Flyers are more of an over team, the way they can't defend and their goaltending sucks. So I'm staying away from the total, but I'll find a way to bet the Sens in some way.
Yeah, with the I kind of like the Sens in 60-minute here too, but after Philly's been to overtime 3 times in a row, it kind of makes you hesitant just because, again, it wouldn't shock me for the Sens to blow a 2-goal lead late in the third and have them push it to overtime. But just quickly, a quick Carter Hart story, actually, since you brought it up. Obviously, he's from the area I'm in. He's from Sherwood Park, Alberta, which is about 10 minutes down the highway from where I live. With the current situation and what's going on, he's obviously away from the game of hockey. We have I don't know the exact age. I want to say it's U16 women's hockey team, which I have a kind of a friend whose friend is coaching that team. And the assistant coach or whatever of that team brought in Carter Hart into their locker room to just talk and be on the ice and hang out, but didn't let any of the parents know. And there was no sign off. There was no nothing. So it's just like, when you say that out loud, the fact that somebody brought in someone like Carter Hart, what he's going through, into a room of minor female women, I was just like, holy fuck. Like, you got to be stupid to think that was okay. So it was an outrage in the parents there. So
yeah, I'm assuming that happened within the past 8 months here or so.
That happened, I think, a month ago. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Boy.
So it was like, yeah. Anyways, back to hockey. The Sens, I mean, they're kind of one of the better home teams here. They're 5-2, and in their last 6, the Sens have actually jumped up to like ranking first overall in, the fancier stats like Corsi and Fenwick and their scoring chance percentage, which I kind of had to do a double take. I wasn't sure if that was correct, but it turns out it is. And they got a tough stretch of games coming up here with Carolina, Edmonton, Vegas, and Vancouver on deck. So if Ottawa's going to need, wins like this to keep in this Eastern race. While I do think they're going to win, there's no value on the minus 170, and it is a little scary to take them in 60. So I probably won't be touching a side in this game. I do think the under 6 is a little safe, is a safe bet just because Ottawa's defense has been pretty decent at home. And Urson's been serviceable. He's been okay. He's given up 3 in 2 straight, but a 2.7 on the year. And his expected is also like 2.7, pretty much right on. So, I mean, you're getting exactly what you get with Urson. He's not underperforming. He's not overperforming. He's kind of that middle of the pack goalie. So I think he can do enough to keep, Flyers in these scrappy games like they have been. So, no play on the total here, but I'll take the under 6.
All right. We are brought to you by Underdog. Underdog Pick'em has one of the biggest menus for all sports: NFL, college football, college basketball, MMA, NBA, NASCAR, and more. Boostober is upon us, which means you're getting a spooky amount of profit boost and much more. So sign up with promo code HGP to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. underdogfantasy.com, promo code HGP. All right, sticking here at the 7 p.m. time slot, we got the New Jersey Devils at the Florida Panthers. Panthers minus 142, Devils plus 120, total at 6, over minus 115, under minus 105. Joel, what do you got here?
Wow, we just saw this game. We got a rare, home and home, I guess, with the Panthers playing both games at home. Devils still sitting around down there. And yeah, I thought the Panthers were the better team in that one. They have chanced the Devils, but the Devils made better use of the chances. Of course, we had Spencer Knight in goal for the Panthers, but it's not like Bobrovsky has been shining in glory so far this year. So I don't know if that's too much of an upgrade, but you'd still rather have him in the net than Spencer Knight right now. So Panthers coming off that loss to the Devils. I think they even up the series here. There's no value really on the line. I think it's pretty much bang on there. I mean, minus 120 for the Panthers, even it's a little light there. So, yeah, it's just the fact that we got a team that we're the better team in that one game, and then the Devils they just maximize the chances. I mean, Spencer actually made a pretty good save, pretty good saves, but overall, I think the Panthers were the far better team, and I think that they get the job done here as well. But minus 142 is a steep price to pay. Again, shop around. Could find much better prices, but even still, minus 142 is at the upper limit of what I'd play. But I do think the Panthers get the job done here at home in a vengeance game. And for the total, of course, we'll have Bobrovsky in nets and likely Markstrom under 6. I mean, it was a fairly low event game on Tuesday, maybe under 6, but I got nothing for a total here. Just give me the Panthers to win at home.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird one. Not too often you see these types of technically not a home and home, but the Devils are obviously staying in Florida, so they've been sitting on the beach all day yesterday. But yeah, I agree. The Panthers were the better team in that game the other day. I watched a good chunk of it. I was on the over in that game actually because I kind of thought that was going to be an explosion spot where it could soar over. And while the final score ended pretty close, that really wasn't indicative of the game because they got a few late goals and plus an empty netter. So that over was really never in play. I do think this is going to be a game where hopefully the typical hockey bettor might look at this and say, oh, well, the Devils just beat Florida 2 days ago and they're getting plus money. I'll take them again. So maybe if tomorrow those lines start moving, hopefully maybe we get a little bit better of a price on Florida, but I'll still take him at that minus 140. I think it's a good bounce back spot. That was the first time all year that the Panthers have been held to, or sorry, not all year. That was the first time in the last 6 games that the Panthers have been held to under 4 goals. So that had to regress at some time, obviously, but I think they can kind of bounce right back here again. I said Bob's been serviceable this year. He's played pretty decent the last 2 games, albeit it was against Nashville and Philly. But he's getting 4 days rest here. I think he can kind of hopefully shut down and slow this New Jersey offense just enough for them to squeak out a win. So total again is tough. I loved the over 6.5 the other time. Went under. Kind of want to take the under here. It'll probably go over, so I'll probably stay off the total. But because it would not shock me if the Panthers all of a sudden put up 4 or 5 in this game. And the Devils should be able to get 2. So I think it'll be right around that too close for me to be thinking about a bet.
Yeah, completely agree with all of that. On the Panthers, minus 142 is the high mark. They're still minus 132 at other books, minus 138 if you're shopping around right now watching live. So I'm not gonna analyze this game, but I will say I like the Devils to win the Metro right now. They're plus 360 is their best price, besides DraftKings, where they're plus 550. They currently have the most points. They have 5 more games played, obviously, so point percentage is worse than the Hurricanes, Caps, and Rangers. But this is a team got off to a slow start. If they stay healthy, if Markstrom kind of plays well in that system, I think 5-1 for them to come out on top is a worthy play right now. Maybe they lose this game and it gets even higher, but you could also just see DraftKings adjust to the 4-1 price at other books. So like the Panthers here, but I do like the Devils long term.
5-1, yeah, that's a pretty good bet there. I think the Hurricanes end up winning the division, but I don't hate that. Come on, Devils from the start of the season, they ended up closing as favorites, but of course the Hurricanes are the newborn Hurricanes. Yeah, speaking of divisional bets, I bet the Panthers today parlayed with Dylan Gabriel to win the Heisman at about 8-1. So I needed to get some investment down there because I don't think that Travis Hunter should be the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman right now, because it's very likely that Dylan Gabriel will get a chance to show up in the Big Ten title game and have a chance to solidify himself, get his Heisman moment there. I know he doesn't have the greatest stats, but the Oregon are the number one team in the country, and Colorado will have a good chance as well to get in the Big Ten or the Big 12 title game. But still, I got to back the quarterback of the best team in the country, so that's a bet for me. And the Panthers, of course, I want them to win the division. I'm going to find multiple ways to bet them to do that.
Yeah, they're still even money at some books, but they're getting the minus 120 there at DraftKings. All right, sticking here at 7 p.m. again, we have the Winnipeg Jets plus 105, underdogs again here, 15-1. At the Tampa Bay Lightning, minus 125, total at 6, over minus 120, under plus 100. Jared, take this one away.
Winnipeg Jets plus money dogs again on the road. I like Tampa here. I know I don't want to get in front of this Jets team. There's nothing indicating that is the right pick. I was actually listening to the idea that there was quite a few other people I was talking to that were kind of on the Rangers the other day, thinking that this was the spot they were going to lose. And, it's with these kind of a coin flip in the NHL in these games anyways. But, I mean, so just going through the Jets stats statistically to make sure this bet, doesn't make sense. They're 7-0 on the road. They're ranked first overall in goals for at 5 per game and fourth overall in the NHL with goals against at 2.1. So on the road, they are complete fucking wagons. While Tampa is pretty respectable at home, they got 4-4-1 but they've only been scoring 2.7 per game, and they've also been allowing league second best at 1.8. So pretty good stats lining up here. I think Comrie's getting the start here. Hellebuck, I was looking earlier. Sorry, I don't think I was trying to get a Hellebuck's played a decent chunk in a row, and they have another road game coming up, and then there is a back-to-back in their next 3 games in the schedule. So I think this is the spot where it makes sense to give Hellebuck a rest today. He plays the next 2, and then Comrie would get that following back-to-back game. So I think it's going to be Comrie here, which he's actually been pretty outstanding himself so far this year. As when he's every time he's come in for relief of Hellebuck, he's just outside the top 10 in save percentage. And he's actually 5th overall in the NHL at high danger save percentages. So that's kind of always a good stat to look at. Tampa is, I don't know what kind of luck they drew, but they got a wicked schedule here. They've been rested for.
They got a free bye week.
They haven't played since 6 days. So I don't know if I've ever seen that before. I don't remember it. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, the old rest versus rust. But I think Tampa has just dropped 4 straight losses. They've been sitting at home, rested, time to whatever little injuries maybe they had, they're getting healed up. They've had all these times to work on their systems to try to. So all I'm basically trying to say here is if the Jets are going to lose, I don't think there's a better place than Tampa at home, well rested, with Winnipeg's backup in. So yeah, I'm kind of probably pretty crazy taking Tampa minus 125, but fuck it. I think I like this money line today or for tomorrow. And I like the over 6 here as well.
This is the classic what the casual would call a trap game, right? Oh, the Jets are 15-1. We got the going down to Lightning, who are middling, and their dogs. The Jets, I've hardly bet any of their games. I can't get quite a read on them. I missed the wagon. Apparently, could have been made a boatload of money on them. Like the one time I think I bet their game was the Leafs, the one game they lost, which was nice. But I've been missing out on a lot of opportunities here, apparently. And yeah, I do like the Jets in terms of the value here. I got them favored at like minus 102. But like you were saying, all that rest and all that. I'm just going to stay away once again from a Jets game. I can't see it. I know they're playing great. But I'm just a little wary of the situation. Jared laid it out excellently. So yeah, I'm not going to bet the Lightning, but I'm definitely not betting the Jets either. The total is also, this one's going to be a fun game, no doubt, but I'm probably not going to be betting it.
Yeah, I'm the sucker here. I took the Jets. I took them minus 105. I'd happily take them plus 105. I might add a unit on them. Yeah, I mean, Jared's been excellent at predicting when backups are going to play, so that is kind of wary if Comrie does come in. But yeah, Jets, tough road trip here at the Rangers, at Tampa, at Florida, back home to face Florida, and then a big road trip again. So they're gonna lose some time here. Tampa Bay has not played in a week, but I'm seeing Braden Point still didn't practice today, which does not bode well for him playing on Thursday. And they're just that much more top heavy when they don't have Braden Point. Like I feel like the Jets here as underdogs plus 105 are the play. Maybe it's a square play, maybe it's a trap play, but Jets here as dogs. And the Lightning, yeah, they had a good start, but they've lost 4 straight. Adam Linsky special, and then 6 days off here, kind of tough for them. But I think the Jets here are a good enough team. I mean, their advanced numbers aren't very good. Expected goals for adjusted for score in venue, they are 20th. Lightning are 18th. Like it's Hellebuck, it's the power play, but I'm taking the Jets here. They've also won the past 5 meetings against Tampa Bay, dating back to January 2023 here. Including 7-4 last year, as well as, or 7-4 earlier this month, November 3rd. So, yeah, Jets plus 105 for the total. Maybe the under, but I'm probably staying away there.
Power play props might be good in this one. 2 lethal power plays. I don't know.
Oh, look at Joel throwing out some props. There we go.
It's just an idea.
All right, going down to 7:30 here. We have the St. Louis Blues at the Buffalo Sabres. Sabres are minus 155. Blues are plus 130. Total is at 6, overpaying off minus 105 with the under at minus 115 here. This is a game between 2 teams that just I cannot get a read on whatsoever. The Blues have screwed me so many times. The Sabres have probably less than the Blues. But St. Louis lost 3 straight, 6 of their past 8, had that 8-1 loss to Washington. Now going on the road with our 3-4. I think Robert Thomas is making his way back, but he's not back yet. Broberg's still out. Letty's still out. Krug obviously out for the season, so they're beat up on the back end. Buffalo had the tough loss, weird afternoon game on a Monday, lost 7-5 there, but had a 3-game win streak before that, 5-5 at home. Minus 155 is a bit steep, but if I had to take the game, I would take the Sabres at that price. As for the total, probably take the under 6 minus 115, but that's a much smaller play than the Sabres if you do want to bet this game.
Normally, I'm all about fading the Blues, but I can't get to this number here. I know the Sabres have been playing a bit better lately, but minus 155 is just too big of a price to pay. I mean, the Blues, they're competitive. I mean, obviously, they weren't competitive in that 8-1 loss of the Caps, but in general, they've been all right. Bit unfortunate to lose in regulation to the Bruins. A little sloppy goal let in by Binnington with fewer than 2 minutes in. Thankfully for me, I was on the Bruins in that game, and they came through in regulation, but I thought the Blues were the Bruins equal in that one. So my line is minus 130. So it's Blues or pass for me. Total is interesting, over 6. I know the Sabres have been, their offense is getting going. Tage Thompson looks a bit more like he did 2 years ago. A lot better than he was looking last year anyway. So, yeah, Sabres offense is getting going. So the over 6, I think, if I had to bet this game, would be the only way I'd look. I mean, I don't want to bet the Blues, but if I had to bet a side, it could only be St. Louis. Minus 155 for the Sabres is just too rich.
Yeah, I probably will be staying off this game, but I do think I like the road dog here. I would probably take Blues. I don't know if anything official has come out yet, but I saw some stuff today where it ended Tage Thompson's day-to-day as well as Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. So if they're not playing and, got Devai Levi in and Tage isn't in, then I'm kind of like this Blues line even more. Devin Levi has been utter shit this year so far. 4.1 goals against, and he's got an save percentage of .866. The Sabres, they've kind of had, like you said, a few good strings of games here put together, but so have the Blues. Like you said, they just got shelled against Washington, but arguably Washington's kind of one of the better goal-scoring teams in the league right now besides the Jets and the Canes. So, but before that, they've been pretty scrappy in all their past recent games, and they were up on Boston late. They gave up 3 goals in the third, so I didn't watch it. If there was a squeaker, I mean, whatever, that's hockey, but not very often you see teams blowing 3-goal leads like that, so maybe they should have won that game. And the Blues, their scoring, which makes them a hard team to bet on, it just seems like their scoring comes in waves. Like they'll go 2, 3, maybe 4 games without very much, and then all of a sudden they'll go 2, 3 games by scoring 4+. So they're hard to get a read on. I don't really ever like betting Blues games, but I think the money line here, if the Sabres are having these injury problems, I think, yeah, I'll take that value. So, and I like the under 6 here as well.
All right, we are brought to you by MyBookie. SGPN started out with MyBookie, and now we're back. Check out the new and improved website. Great on mobile, plus props for every game, and of course, a live dealer casino. Love that. Even new early cash out options. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. And of course, check out Rhythm, the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds. Get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. Build your own model, copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard, or have Rhythm build a model for you. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All right, going down to 8 p.m. here. We have the Boston Bruins at the Dallas Stars. Stars -175, Bruins +145, over 6 +102, under 6 -122. Jolie, up to you.
This is another tough one because I don't know what the Bruins are exactly. I know they're playing a little bit better lately. Their special teams actually. I was confused for a minute because I usually look at the 5-on-5 stats only, but I was seeing the Bruins are actually top 10 in all these stats. But I had a strength all situations, and then when I adjusted for 5-on-5, okay, they're back in towards the middle of the pack. So yeah. The Bruins are an uninspiring team. Like their goal differential is really bad, but they continue to get results. Like they're kind of like the superpowered Blues. I've been saying that for a couple of years now. The way they just managed to get results despite not looking great, not playing really great. Like at least in terms of how they keep stats. Like some teams just throw off the statisticians, and the Bruins are definitely the kings among those teams. So yeah, it's tough to get a read here. My line is only -141 for the Stars, though. Maybe I've just got too much respect for the Bruins, but I can't back them here. I mean, I watched a lot of that Bruins Blues game. Yeah, they were down 2-0 through 2 periods. Kind of fortunate to win that one in regulation, like I said in the previous segment. I can't back the Stars here -175. I know they're pretty good. They're getting results coming back from Finland even. But it's just too big of a price to pay, I think, at -175. So, I mean, there's a lot of past games on this slate so far here. I can't really give out a lot of actionable bets, but it's Bruins a pass, unfortunately. I think that they can make this game competitive. You'd love +1.5 if it wasn't -180. I think that this one could be a close one. So maybe just the overtime at 3-1 or better. That's the way I'd look. The total, if it's the Bruins game, you got to look to the under. Stars, they have a potent offense, but the Bruins have been excellent at shutting teams down. So, yeah, I could easily see a 3-2 game either way, probably in overtime. So that's all I got for this one.
Yeah, I this Boston team is just, I think I've kind of officially come to realize that they're just not what is kind of been ingrained, for this. Like they're just not playing good hockey right now, and maybe they will turn it around. Hopefully they do, because it is always good when Boston's playing good. But I think this is a good spot to take Dallas. -175 again. I won't be taking that. And to be honest, I don't think I want to take in regulation because I agree. I think that this is going to be a 3-2 or maybe even a 2-1 game pretty late in the game, and then I might even just sprinkle maybe like a half unit on the puck line at +150 because I think and just pray for that empty netter because I do think Dallas is gonna win the game. So hopefully they can just get that empty netter for that, cover that puck line because Boston has not been good on the road. 3-4-1, and they've played a mixed bag of teams on the road. They played some pretty good teams and they played some pretty bad teams. So the fact that they're kind of still around that 500 just on the road just shows they're not taking care of or they're not able to compete against the good teams, but yet they're able to get it done against the weaker teams. They're bottom. I think they're third worst in the league at goals for on the road at 2.2. And then Dallas has just been so good at home. Like they're still 6-1 at home. And again, that only loss has come in Finland. So technically on their home ice, they're still 6-0. And they have a league best goals against average of 1.9 at home. And Otter's been pretty decent to start the year. And I think he's just going to start to build on his last performance there. Obviously it was the Pens, but I'm a big believer in that defensive chemistry where once you can get a shutout or two and you kind of start gelling, that defensive chemistry just rolls over game to game. And I think from what we've seen from this Boston offense, I think Dallas is more than capable of keeping them to 2 goals or less, in all honesty. So I think, 175 is hard in value, and the overtime stuff, because like I said, if you're praying for that puck line, I don't know, minus 150 is not a bad play in my opinion. And I'm going to stay off that total because I truly do think it's going to be 3-2. And then if you've got the puck line and you're hoping for that empty netter, you're getting the push. So you might as well stick up. If you like the puck line, I'd stick off the total. But I'm kind of, until Boston can prove something to me, I just can't bet money with them. They're just not it right now.
Yeah, another tough one here. You mentioned Dallas undefeated at their actual home arena, 6-0 there. But like looking at Dallas's wins this season, not too many impressive. Nashville, Islanders, Seattle, San Jose, Edmonton, Boston, Chicago again, and Pittsburgh. Like none of those teams are like, wow, that's a great win by Dallas. They've lost to Washington, Buffalo, Florida twice, and then at Winnipeg. So yeah, it's Bruins here or pass probably just on the money line, but looking at some game parlays here, don't hate the Stars and the under 5.5 at plus 195. Also, if you like the draw play, you can get tie at first period, tie end of regulation at plus 950. If you want to throw a quarter unit on that for a fun play there, if you're looking for a draw. Otherwise, for the total, do like the under 6 here at minus 122. Stars are one of the most profitable under teams so far at 8-4-2. Bruins 9-8 to the under. Well, this would be a good test. We'll see if the Stars are for real. We'll see if Boston can, beat a good team here on the road. The under here would be my best bet. All right, 8:00 again here. Montreal Canadiens plus 215 at the Minnesota Wild minus 265. Wild on the puck line minus 102. Over 6.5 plus 100, under 6.5 minus 120. Jared, what do you have for this one?
Yeah, it's always nice when the goalies are confirmed a day ahead. So I think we do know we're getting Montembeault and Gustafsson here. So makes it a little bit easier to cap. You're not guessing. Minnesota's been pretty decent at home. 3-1-1. They haven't been great scoring at home. They're kind of right in the average of goals for on home ice, but they're getting it done, and the Canadiens they're not a good road team. They did just have that kind of offensive explosion there against Buffalo. But I really don't think that that's going to gain any traction here, or I don't think they're going to build off of that because Minnesota is a far different built team than the way Buffalo is, and they play a very different game. So I do think that the defensive ability of Minnesota plus Gustafsson and how well he's kind of played to start the year, kind of that random name getting thrown in the Vezina conversation where really it's like we've agreed the 2-horse race, but he's kind of the only other guy that might have a chance. So if he wants to make a name for himself, it's games like this that he's going to have to start, and it's a big mismatch. Like Montembeault has just completely fallen off a cliff this year. Not even this year, but just basically the first game against the Leafs here, people have been hanging on that performance this entire time. And he just basically hasn't been good since then. That Minnesota, like I said, I don't usually like taking puck lines if they're in the in the minuses, but minus 102. I think I'll take that here against a struggling Montreal team, especially on them being on the road. I don't got much else. The total, I think it probably does stay under. I'll probably just be completely off this total just in case Montreal does score randomly 3 goals, but I really don't think they're going to get 3 past Gustafsson here.
75-1, baby. Gus to win the Vezina. Still alive and kicking. Totally agree there. My line is minus 277. I like the Wild to stomp the Canadiens. I had to downgrade them once again. Their defense is miserable. Fortunate. They were fortunate to get a pretty weak Sabres defense and and a typical Sabres goaltending performance in the last game, which allowed for their offensive explosion. They're really just relying on Cole Caulfield to provide anything offensively. They're not doing much else from their other lines, and of course, we know how terrible they are defensively. Probably the worst team in the league in that respect. So that even the impotent Wild here can generate some offense against the terrible Canadiens defense. So yeah, the -1.5 there is decent. It's a bit worrying because the Wild are one of those teams that don't really step on the gas. They like to play things tight, defend a lead and that kind of thing. So that's why I like the under 6.5 as well. Just rely on the Canadiens to just rely on the Wild defense to do their job, and the goaltending, of course, to make this like a 4-1 kind of game. So yeah, the under 6.5 and then the Wild from me in this one.
Yeah, it's Wild here. Nothing. -265 is steep. Puck line there, -102, a decent play. But I'm looking at the Wild team total over 3.5, -145, kind of in the middle there. Montreal's allowed 4+ in 10 of 16 games. Minnesota score 4+ in 9 of 15 so far. Could also go with that classic race to 4 goals for the Wild there at +120. If you think they're going to put up 4 and the Canadiens won't. So, yeah, find a way to play the Wild here. Maybe a parlay piece if you're into that, but think there's probably an easier way. Maybe a Wild and Kaprizov assist parlay together. Maybe Wild and Kaprizov 2 points, something like that. Yeah, just Minnesota here is just a much better team coming back home from a road trip with 2 or 3 days off. So go Wild here.
The race to 4 +120 is a lot better than that team total over 3.5 at -140, whatever.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll go with there. All right, down to 9 o'clock here. Have the Nashville Predators +150 at the Edmonton Oilers -180. Over 6 -120. Under 6 +100 here. I hate to go back to back with you, Jared, but it's just your team, so you're taking this one first.
Fair enough. Yeah, the as an Oilers fan, these are the spots that we typically like to drop. But after that last performance against the Isles, blowing that game late, I think it's going to be Oilers here against a struggling Nashville team on the road. Both these teams are actually kind of very average in their respective splits, home and away. The special team edge, I think, actually goes to Nashville here because Edmonton has the worst penalty kill in the league, which is fucking horrific. And their power play has not been what it has last year. Obviously, last year being one of a historic power plays, they've completely fallen off. Can't seem to figure that out. So special team edge definitely goes to Nashville here. But the Preds remain one of the worst teams on the road at goals for with only 1.8. And their expected jumps up all the way to 3.4. Like, that's a crazy jump. Over like a goal and a half is, you don't see that too often with these kind of advanced stats, but I don't know. I just don't know if that stack's ever going to correct itself. They just can't get anything outside of that top line. They keep putting, Marchessault and Stamkos together on that second line, and they're just not generating anything 5-on-5. They can't get any chemistry going. And Edmonton's also one of the worst teams in the league at goals against at home. With goals for at home. They're only scoring 2.1, which again, if you say that to someone who's an average hockey fan, Edmonton Oilers are only scoring on average 2.1 a game at home is also crazy. And their expected also jumps way up to 3.5. So I don't know what the hell to think of these two teams here. They're clearly very underperforming. In their last 6 games, Edmonton has been 5th overall in goals for. So again, I mentioned those. You got to look under the hood with those splits in the last 6. And they've jumped all the way up to 3.6. So I don't know. I do think it is going to be Edmonton here all the way. McDavid's back and healthy. He's on his quest. He just needs one more fancy point here to reach that next milestone. So I think he's definitely going to get it here. And I think I actually saw Picard is scheduled to start here this game. Skinner's getting a night off, which I think is a good thing. That Islanders game, that goal, I believe it was the second goal he gave up to Palmieri. I think it was Palmieri. His east to west movement is probably one of the worst in the league. I know I was pretty rough on Bouchard there last show, but I could also be just as rough on Skinner. He's a good fit for Edmonton. He's not a flashy goalie. He's kind of that blue collar workhorse, so he fits in good. I like him, but at times he can be extremely frustrating. and he needs breaks every now and then, maybe more than your average starter. So Picard's been pretty serviceable this year. He's had a few weaker games, but he has played some decent games. I think he had the Jets early in the year. So I don't know. The value here at -180, I don't think my line, I could get there with my line. But I don't know if you want to take, I know McDavid's point props are usually set at like 1.5 at like -120. But so I don't know if you could maybe take his point and then Edmonton money line to bring this down to like maybe -130, which kind of sounds crazy, but I think he's definitely going to get his 1000th point here. So, yeah.
Do you actually pronounce it Picard? Like
I do. I just that's just what rolls off the tongue for me. So
we call him Captain Picard around here. So
Picard, I know most people say Pickard or whatnot, but it's Picard.
Yeah. Okay, we'll roll with that. I like it. For this game, I think the Oilers they found something lately. They found some offense. I watched that Canucks game. They certainly showed it there. A lot of that was down to Lankinen just giving up in the third period. But still, against the Islanders, they scored in bunches there. But the Predators, I think that they're just undervalued, to be honest. Like they're just getting thrown to the Wolves. Like you were saying, they are underperforming their expected stuff. Their PDO is terrible. Save percentage is bad. Shooting percentage is bad. But I think that stuff will regress positively, and that's why I kind of like the Predators here, unfortunately, because they've been disappointing me for most of the season. But +150, I think, is just a nice price to pay there. And yeah, like you said, if we get Captain Picard here, I like that even better. The total is interesting. The Oilers, like their offense might have found something recently. Like they took a while to get going last year. Maybe they get going a little earlier this year, but I got nothing for the total. Like who knows with these Predators games? Like sometimes their offense shows up, most of the times it doesn't. So it might be correlated actually. The Predators and the over, I think, because if they can go toe for toe with Oilers offense, we could see a nice shootout here. So yeah, if you want the total, maybe parlay with the Predators money line. But yeah, I'm only looking at the Preds in this spot. Also, I know I said I bet Kaprizov for the Hart last show, but McDavid, I think he's getting back in the driver's seat. Like he didn't miss many games, and now he got goal and 3 assists there. Like you were saying, one more point away from 1,000 points. He's going to have a huge momentum factor there. So I might be just going back to just betting McDavid for the Hart.
Yeah, I was going to bring up McDavid. Four points last night, points in all 4 goals in the overtime win. 3 points the night before, so 7 points last 2 games. Had 8 shots last game, so he's feeling good. Still 5-1 for the Hart. Might be the best price you can get. I'm kind of split between you. Like I if I had to take this, would take the underdog Predators +150 because they have to turn it around sometime. But like looking at their road, they're 1-3-2 on the road. Only win came in Chicago 3-2. Edmonton does seem to be finding it now with Arvidsson's day today, but like Skinner, Hyman, like all the new guys are kind of fitting in there pretty well. But yeah, for this one, I can't get to -180 for the Oilers. So Predators are nothing for me. But yeah, McDavid for the Hart, 5-1 there. Do like that. The total, both these teams have gone under in 10 of their 16 games here. So maybe the under 6 at +100 if you're looking for a sneaky play here. All right, down to 10 p.m. Got the Chicago Blackhawks at the Seattle Kraken. Kraken are -162. Blackhawks are +136. Total at 6. Over -102. Under -118 here. I really like the Kraken here. I'm not sure why, but the Kraken puck line +160 is kind of calling to me. Blackhawks, coming off a 2-1 win at home against Minnesota, but they've had some, 2-goal losses for most of those losses. 3-1 in Dallas, 4-1 against Detroit. They've been playing better hockey recently, but can't get to that +136 number for them. I do think Seattle is better than they've shown. Seattle's on a back-to-back. They're
Not
Seattle Avs? Not tonight, right? Okay. So, yeah, Seattle -162, probably a bit more than I want to pay on this team. But I think if they do win, it'll be by at least 2 margin there. So +160. For the total, probably look to the under -118. Chicago is not scoring much. Seattle, has been okay defensively. So maybe look at like a 3-2, 4-2 win here for the Kraken.
No arguments there. Both teams I had to downgrade recently. Even the Kraken after their couple wins. I was not really impressed by their game against the Blue Jackets. They were totally outplayed in the first period. They found a way to get it done later on, mainly thanks to the antics of Brandon Tanev, who was on a tear. So, you player props guys could find some interest in that. The guy is carrying the offense somehow. But yeah, my line is minus 170 even still after downgrading the Kraken. So I got to go with them. I know, like, what was it, like a couple shows ago, they were the worst in the league in terms of expected goal for percentage. They're on fifth now, a little respectable, 44.18%. So yeah, it's Kraken, nothing here. The Blackhawks, not really impressed with what they've done so far. Their new pieces haven't really contributed much. Bedard has had a slow start to the season. So yeah, give me the Kraken here. The total, I like to bet the overs in Kraken games, but the Blackhawks offense looks really bad, so it's tough to do that. So maybe a Kraken team total would be the way to look. But either way, just find a way to bet the Kraken in this one.
Yeah, my notes I made for this one, I just put save your money. This is just such a tough one to bet. Like I said, we're not getting to either value line or goal line on either team here at these lines. So it is tough. I think the only thing I'm going to take in this game is the Eberle and McCann point stack. That's probably got a really good chance in this game here. And I think that's usually one of the better ones that's still available. You can probably find it around plus 170 ish, somewhere in there. So that'll probably be my actual only play on this one. Another potential look, I think Decord's going to get the start here. So looking at his save prop under, Chicago has been kind of struggled to shoot the puck here recently. And Seattle's also been pretty decent at suppressing, not the best, but good enough where I think if, that line comes out somewhere around 26, I'd be taking that under. But yeah, and just to your point there, Ryan, about taking it on the puck line, it's probably a decent bet because similar to the Canes, how whenever they win, they typically always win by margin. The Blackhawks are on the complete other end of that spectrum. Is whenever they're losing, they're typically losing by margin. So out of their 10 losses, 7 of those 10 have come by more than, or have been that more than that goal and a half, that puck line there. So I think, hey, that's decent value. If you think the Blackhawks are going to win, it's a 70% chance they're going to lose by more than one. So plus 160, not a bad sprinkle for sure.
Taylor Radish, 1-0 Caps.
All right, let's go. Caps close at least minus 140, close to minus 150.
Yeah, that was an obvious.
I think it was, yeah.
All right, down to the final game on the docket here. We got the New York Islanders plus 145 at the Vancouver Canucks minus 175. Over 6 minus 105, under 6 minus 115. Joel, you got your two sons here fighting, the Islanders and the Canucks.
Right. Well, for once, it's no surprise, I guess, because we're going to the Islanders. But for once, I'm not going to be back in the Canucks here. I only had them at minus 147. This, I don't know. The Canucks are playing pretty well lately. Like Elias Pettersson has finally found his game, much to the relief of the Canucks fan base here, who've been wanting to crucify him for about 9 months now. But he's gotten going. The Islanders, I thought they were pretty good in that Oilers game. They stood toe-to-toe with a team that are much better than them in terms of true talent. I know they're still missing some players, Pelech and Barzal and the like, but we got the return of Bo Horvat. That'll be fun to observe. But yeah, the line is just too tall here for the Canucks, who are relying maybe too much on Quinn Hughes. Like he's just when he's not on the ice, they're getting outplayed. Thankfully, Art Branston is doing wonders for them. He's been a great signing by once again an elite front office with the Rutherford and Alvin, who continue to find ways to plug holes despite being up against the cap. But even still, the Canucks minus 175 is just too steep. Islanders, they make these games competitive. Once again, force another overtime against the Oilers. So yeah, I could easily see this being more of a coin flip game. And in the coin flip game, I'd rather take the plus 145, obviously. Yeah, so I got to back the Islanders here. The total is interesting because both teams are trying to be more offensive than they were last year. Obviously, the Patrick Waugh in the the Leafs tied it in the behind the bench for the Islanders, introducing more offensive style play, and the Canucks trying to generate more offense because they were miserable offensively in the second half of last season. So they're trying to get things going off the rush. for that reason, I would kind of like the over 6, but we do have some decent goaltending in net there with the Lankinen having a great start to the year as a stopgap for Demko's injury, and of course Sorokin for the Isles. But in the Isles, yeah, they just lack goal scoring talent, so that's the problem there. So lean to the over 6. So I look to the over 6, but
we almost got through the whole show.
I did do it once last show. Plus 145 for the Islanders. Over 6 would be my looks.
Yeah, I don't really have too much for this game here, but yeah, to echo Joel here, Islanders plus 145. Just can't get to that minus 175 number for the Canucks. The one for their past 5, the only loss was to Edmonton, where, yeah, I was watching that third period of that one thinking the Canucks might come back, but Oilers just piled it on 3 goals in 3 minutes to chase Lankinen in there. So yeah, I can't take minus 175. I hate betting the Islanders in any fashion whatsoever. So it's just a complete pass game for me.
Yeah, the Islanders seem to be absolutely addicted to playing overtime hockey.
For years.
That's the only time they can get their points.
The two already, or 2 straight, 7 on the year already. Fucking draws plus 320. I mean, why not? They're on game 2 of a 5-game roadie, so it's early enough in the road trip. I don't really think there's anything there to kind of take out. I'd be maybe looking to fade them later on game 4 or 5, which I think they actually kind of have a weird road trip where they were in Edmonton, then they go off to Vancouver, down to Seattle, back over to Calgary, and then kind of down and back to Detroit. So I know Calgary and Detroit aren't very, flashy teams to take, but that's kind of an awkward road trip. It could be pretty tough. So maybe one of those 2 teams could pull out an upset there if they're a home dog, right? But yeah, in this game here alone, again, the plus 145, if it's going to be an overtime game, why not take that? And the Vancouver's special teams, like I've actually missed the past few, so I'm not 100% if it's maybe improved, but they've been struggling. They got the 3rd worst power play in the league and the 2nd worst PK, while the Isles, they're not that bad. So yeah, I think the only play here could possibly be Islanders money line. I'm gonna probably sprinkle on the plus 320 because it seems like that's free money with the Islanders lately. But yeah, and I think I do like the over 2. I definitely think this could be a 3-3 game late, and then the 4th coming in overtime. So,
do you ever sprinkle correct scores regulation like 3-3, 2-2 if you like game for the draw?
Sometimes I will. I really gotta like it. I think I've only done 1 this year. So yeah, in years past I used to do a little bit more, but I've kind of gotten more into the player prop side of things the past few years. So that side of stuff has fallen off. Because obviously you can't bet everything, but maybe I'll go back to it because the player props have been pretty shit lately. So
yeah, I get into stretches where I like betting draws and correct scores and race to 4s and all these different props. But the line point stacks have been doing well for me recently. So yeah, I'm gonna keep riding that until it stops. Right, that's the 10-game slate for Thursday, November 14th. We can get into our puck buck bets now. I have my 3 ready to go. I'm taking the Sharks plus 310 for 10 puck bucks. I'm taking the Panthers puck line plus 180 for 15 puck bucks, and the Jets plus 105 for 20 puck bucks.
3 bets there.
It's a big slate. Not many good games though.
Give me the Senators regulation minus 110. 20 puck bucks. Give me the give me the Wild minus 1.5, minus 102, 20 puck bucks. Give me the Predators plus 150, 15 puck bucks. Islanders plus 145, 15 puck bucks, and Kraken regulation even money, 20 puck bucks.
All right, Jared, what do you got?
I think I will go. I'll just go Panthers on the money line minus 140 there for 20 puck bucks. I am going to take Tampa money line minus 120. Fuck it, I'm just going to do it. 20 puck bucks. I think that maybe that train can finally come, and if I look like an idiot, well, I am an idiot. So I'll take Wild on the puck line or minus 102 there, or 105, whatever it was. Sorry, 20 bucks. And I think I'll take Oilers Predators under 6.5, 20 bucks, minus 125.
All right, there's the bets all on the screen for the YouTube listeners. If you're listening on the podcast, just rewind and you can take some notes, put it on 0.5x, whatever, and you can get them there. Right, anything else here before we close it out? Any props for tonight's games, Jared?
Yeah, I took Dorify of shots, so it was actually a mixed, very sporadic odds on that prop. Bet365 had him all the way up to minus 170. But I found him on Betway at minus 138. So it's a little bit steeper than I like to take, but I think I really do like that in that spot. Obviously, just if that was against any other team, I probably actually wouldn't have taken that. But since it's the Ducks, fuck it. I mean, everybody gets shots against them. And then I was on the Nature's Assist again, because that's 10 in a row. Why not? I had McMichael to record a point, because they keep putting that at minus 105. He's on a hot streak, and I actually think he assisted on that Washington goal. I haven't had a chance to check it.
He got the assist.
So there you go. There's one cash. So those were the main three. And then as far as the other bets outside of the puck buck, I actually stumbled across this info here today. The Golden Knights, which obviously we liked to cover that puck line against the Ducks tonight anyways, they're starting their dad's trip. So this is game one of their dad's trip.
Yes.
And the Vegas Golden Knights are 9-1 on with their dad's trip with a plus 24 goal differential.
I was gonna put that in the Discord.
So, I don't know what the hell's going on. They love playing in front of pops. So
yeah,
I mean, fuck. I'm gonna be. Obviously it's not an official play for me anywhere, but I'll be adding Vegas puck line here. Just why not?
Yeah, I'm shopping right now to see what the best price is. I'm gonna add that definitely for now. I saw you also had from the Discord Nicholas Waugh playing on the top line again.
Oh yeah, sorry,
with Jack Eichel.
Yeah, I did forget about that one.
For that point, yeah.
Yeah, I think Stone's officially been ruled out, which was kind of expected, obviously. But with him on that top line, that point prop's been pretty great. He's like a guy who's playing first line right beside Jack Eichel, and also on the first power play for his point prop to be at minus 110. Fuck. Why would you not take that? So yeah, that's another one there.
And it looks like Dostal's projected, but no confirmed goal yet for either team there with the Knights.
I'd be shocked if they don't go back to Gibby. Like, he played pretty good. Why not? I don't know. Yeah. But you never know. I mean, if Dostal, I would actually prefer Dostal. So he, like you said, their last show, he kind of hit a wall. I think Vegas can definitely put some in. And Gibson's always one of those goalies where randomly he can just have an all-star performance. So
yeah. All right. Anything else here, guys, before we close it out? Probably back Friday night. I believe there's a dozen games on Saturday, so our classic Friday night show. So yeah, nothing Thursday night. Joel, you got any football bets? Got anything for big Eagles Commanders game? Best Thursday night football game of the year.
Have not bet the game, but I hope to fuck the Eagles win, because we got heavy bets on the Eagles to do good things, including win the NFC East. Fuck the Cowboys. Dak Prescott, he's done, and they fucking suck once again. So that's good to know. But then Commanders come out of nowhere, so we got to fight them off. But yeah, go Birds.
Yeah, go Birds indeed. There,
go Birds.
Yeah. All right. Make sure you subscribe to the Hockey Gambling Podcast, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Get in the Discord. Follow on Twitter. And I am Ryan Gilbert. You can follow me on Twitter at rgilbertsop.
And I'm Joel Meyer, and you can find me cussing up bus drivers who drive too close to the fucking curb when there's puddles of water everywhere.
Jared Schmidt, play the puck on Twitter.
See ya.